Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of No Outside Food Allowed, or also known as The Nofa Show. We're here to give you our unfiltered opinions on everything nerdy and entertainment. Today, we'll be discussing overrated rating systems, the newest DC shakeup, a group discussion about superheroes and villains and what makes a better movie, and a brand new Nintendo video game, ? Let's get to some introductions. My name's Adam. I'll be player 1 today in this group. With me, players 2 through 5, is Chris Felix.
Hello. I guess that makes me Luigi.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
Sam Lim.
I'll be Bowser. That's easier for me.
That makes sense.
Eddie McGowan.
I'll be Princess Peach. She's a pretty one, right?
Nice.
Well, you have pretty eyes, so it works.
And Chris Gagne.
I guess that makes me Toad.
Nice. Yes, that's right.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hey, you do have the princess.
You can
so you're
jump
good.
high, I guess. Oh, wait, that was Luigi. Damn it, I don't know what Toad is.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
You tell Mario that the princess isn't in this castle.
Oh, so you're like the CB, the cock blocker.
The cheerleader.
Nah,
The
she
cheerleader.
ain't here, bro. She ain't
You
here.
mean like Tom Brady?
Is that how we segue into the football disaster that
Next.
no one likes?
Do we get Super Bowl picks?
Never.
This is going to be really bad
Yeah.
because Patriots-Eagles looks like that's going to be it. The Eagles are still playing as we speak and record, but it
The
looks
score's
like
currently
Patriots
7:38.
two of the teams
I'm
that I didn't
checking
want to
it
go
right now.
because I'm a Cowboys fan and I hate the Eagles.
So,
And-
yeah, we're looking at 38-7 right now. Philly up. There's a 9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So,
So who's betting Patriots?
I'm going to say the
Everyone?
line
Nope.
opens Patriots probably minus a touchdown. I mean, they're going to be heavily favored.
7
I
and
was
a half.
I was going to say at least 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I
It's going to be
mean,
nuts.
a backup quarterback from Philly, I mean, I know they're playing well now, but they're at home and they're playing against the Vikings, who have Case Keenum. It's not Tom Brady. So it's
True.
it might be some type of entertaining, but I bet you the Patriots win this by 10. It's going to be boring. We'll be looking for Justin Timberlake to rip off some pasties off of somebody. So,
Oh, gosh.
Hey,
is Justin
but
Timberlake the halftime show
yeah,
again?
he
Yeah, I
is.
think so.
is he?
But don't forget, guys. When Bill Chick smiles, angels get their wings.
Once in a blue moon. I think he might have smirked today.
That's true.
I don't know. It was weirding me out, Eddie, seeing him smile like that. I saw him smile twice. I was like,
Yeah.
is the world ending?
But when they scored that last touchdown, everyone in the whole sideline is like just cheering and jumping, and he's just standing there. I'm like,
Yeah.
that guy's
That's
happy.
how he does it. Yeah, you know he's happy, right?
I wonder how his marriage photos look. When the photographer's like, hey, can you give me a smile? And he just glares.
Probably wearing a hoodie.
Sam, did you happen to kill the predator yet in Wildlands?
No, he's still a dick.
Yeah, still alive and kicking?
Set up all those mines. At least I bypassed the shoulder cannon, and he went straight to the buzzsaw. So I know I made him mad.
Okay.
I learned
All
a
it did was
lesson.
piss him off. Yeah. You don't mess with the predators.
I tried bringing armored tanks, helicopters. Nothing's working.
Yeah.
I could use your guys' help.
You need to
know?
call in Arnold. That's the only way.
And mud.
I'm
I need
telling
mud to cool off.
Gotta use that camo.
How's your Persona 5? Oh, wait, you both are doing Persona 5.
I haven't been on
Yeah.
it in months, but
Yeah.
I mean, the last place I left off was like the 4th dungeon, I
Yeah.
think, after the pyramid.
Nice. I
think
think
that's
I'm
where I
on
was at.
the 6th one now.
Huh.
Getting
crap.
through it. Yeah, it's getting hard to manage all the different character interactions. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a
There's
stressful
like
game,
Probably
man.
20 of them.
Like, it's like real life, managing school and relationships and
Yeah.
jobs and crap.
It's terrible.
Like, how do I escape
I mean,
my
it's
life?
terrible in a great way. But
Darn gaming.
How about you, Gagne? You seen any good movies lately? I know you get to see them all for free. You're on that movie pass.
I mean, shameless plug for MoviePass, but
Yeah.
it makes you want to go almost every day. I had to stop myself this morning from jumping out of bed and going to the first show just to see another one. But I did. We watched
I love it.
I, Tonya this week, which was fantastic. Kind of took me back. You don't realize how much of a media circus it was. We were pretty young when it actually happened, and you just
Sure.
remember that they made figure skating exciting somehow. You're like, wait, somebody got
Kind of.
clubbed? Like, what? What is that about? And it was, I
We're
mean,
tuning into the Olympics, right?
Is
exactly.
it like
yeah.
offsides?
It was
It made it relevant at the time. so-
really good.
like, is
really good.
is
Allison
it that big a
Janney
deal?
definitely deserved her Golden Globe win. It was
Yeah.
very funny and sad at the same time. You know, you feel bad for this woman who just was really good at skating but came from the wrong side of the tracks and
Gotcha.
was surrounded by a lot of dumb people.
Wow.
How was Sebastian in the movie?
Oh,
what's your
almost
song?
unrecognizable.
Was
I told my wife that hey, that's the Winter Soldier. And she said no. She just, I mean,
She's no.
flat out like, almost like Felix's wife's reaction when, she saw Cap with the beard on, like, who's that? That's not
Dude, it's
him.
magical. It's amazing.
But highly recommend it.
What was that movie rated, Gagne?
I tend to forget the Loy-Anye scale. Hard to pronounce. Very hard to pronounce. I think it was a good on the, or a great. Is it 7 or 8? I never remember. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
I believe good is 7.
Okay, so great would be 8.
Great would be 8.
Great would
yeah,
be
we made
8,
up.
yeah.
For those that don't know, our inside joke here is that we made our own kind of movie rating scale because we couldn't agree on whether or not 1 through 10 was good or 1 through 5 was good. So we kind of made our own version of our scale because we really just disagree with some types of rating systems, which actually is a nice little segue into our next topic. And so we're talking about rating systems, and in this case, movies, and are they overrated? In a lot of cases, we talk about Rotten Tomatoes and how it's kind of has a bias on one way or the other, and whether it leads, audiences to a good movie or a bad movie, or whether or not.
I agree. It really affects the outcome.
Yeah. And in this case, we're going to talk about the MPAA ratings, which are basically what makes a movie, rated PG, PG-13, rated R, and what their standards and methods are of picking those ratings. Gagne and Eddie had seen this documentary about this, so we'll send it over to Gagne, and they can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a funny, quick story, and what made me kind of think about this topic was that I took my kids, I guess it was last summer, to see Suicide Squad, and I believe it was given a rated R from the MPAA, and you make a judgment call as a parent, as my parents did to take me to films. You see the rated R and you're like, okay, well, this is a superhero film, so maybe there's going to be some language. Obviously, Harley Quinn's dressed in skimpy clothing, but is that something I can deal with for my kids? But we're in the theater, and of course there is a belligerent drunk guy. It's late Thursday night, and he is dropping F-bombs, and I didn't say anything. You have to live with that. I made the choice to take my kids to that film at that time. But his friend tries to quiet him down, and he says, hey, kids aren't supposed to be in here anyway. And he kind of gave me a glance, and I had the fuming steam coming out of my ears, like, don't tell me.
Don't start with me.
Right, don't.
Oh, you didn't turn into a Papa Bear and kill him?
I'm the bad parent. You're the one up, standing up, making yourself look like an idiot. You're talking to the
You're
crowd.
the drunk guy in the middle of the theater.
Exactly. So I bit my tongue, but it made me think, how much does that rating system even matter anymore when you've got films like Deadpool that are rated R for the content and the language and the violence.
For being great.
But exactly. I mean, it's a good film, and so it's slapped a rated R, and that might keep some parents from it. But I feel like the rating system in general, you don't need it so much anymore. I feel like there's so much information you can get off of the internet for what a film is going to be about. Talk to people about the film, and then you make the decision. But yeah, the rating system.
You have all this. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
We have all this endless information on the internet, and nobody's rating that. You have instant access to that as a 10-year-old. So why do we need these ratings now if you have all this digital content available at the instant at your fingertips? So
it should always be on the parent. What your kid is going to see, what's appropriate. It's all on you. So
actually, I made a note here. How many times has Nathan seen Deadpool? In the background, parts of it. In general, and he's how old? I bet
he's 3.5.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't think that's happened. But
No.
I don't know if anyone's ever seen the show Shameless. Whenever something terrible is happening in that show, he just happens to look up. I'm like,
You try covering your eyes at least?
don't do that, Nathan. When you're older.
How about you, Gagne? How do you try to?
How do you fix it? What do you do now instead of an MPAA? That's the
How do you control your spear?
I feel like they just need to restructure. I mean, we live in a country that just is so big on censorship, and I've gotten to see a change in radio, and you hear things that can slip through now. You can say ass, or you can say damn. You can say things that you weren't able to. Yeah,
exactly.
But as far as a rating system goes, I feel like there needs to be something, a restructuring, if you will. And talking to you guys about it, Eddie brought up the documentary this film is not yet rated, which they gave that title to because it actually never received a rating from the MPAA because of the subject matter. It was a documentary covering how the MPAA runs its organization, who gets on the board, who votes on it, and whether or not there's some political play. I'll throw it to you, Eddie,
Yeah,
because I'm kind of curious what you thought about the film and what do you think about the rating system? Because you're a dad too, and you have to make those decisions when you want to show your son even a Marvel movie. There's violence in those.
They actually did give the documentary eventually a rating, and it was NC-17 for sexual content for showing the things in other movies.
That's fine.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
And they have a lot of weird rules that go into
Yes.
the thing that they go over in the movie. Yeah, the people on the board are supposed to have children 6 to 18. They're supposed to only be on the board for under 7 years. And they're in the documentary. They're going over how people are. The one guy was in it for 9 years and was still going in 2005 when they made the movie. And he goes over in the documentary like how strict they're
Like the standards.
the standards and stuff.
Because like one cuss word and you're like rated R.
Well,
One F word.
One F
One
word.
F
and you're
word, sorry.
PG-13. And any more after that, you're automatically rated R.
Right.
But I remember
Changed in the
from
last
the
12 years.
documentary, the main guy protesting was definitely Kevin Smith. He was like one of the main proponent guys that just was ahead of his time back then. Was saying that the system itself is out of whack basically, and it needs to be.
Well, I mean, when was
relooked
the
at.
system founded? It's got to been. It'd be an
Long
interesting
time
fact there, but it's probably a long time ago, I would assume. So, as with everything else, it needs to be updated.
Definitely, because like one of the prime examples I had. Sorry to interrupt you guys. The one prime example I had was these days, like when you see things says TVMA, but then you look at the clock, it's only 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. You're like, wait, you're already playing TVMA stuff? Because back in our days when we were kids, back in like '96, anything TVMA is like what 10 o'clock,
10 or
11
later.
Yeah, 10 or later.
If it was on Toonami, you'd have to wait until like midnight, right?
Yeah, they even
exactly.
have their own segment called Adult Swim.
Yes,
To try
yes.
to keep kids from watching it.
Yeah,
right?
because like the prime example for me would definitely be Comedy Central. All the stuff they play between the 7 o'clock to like midnight hour,
Yeah.
it's pretty much TVMA. Like
It's adult content.
Yeah, they all get away with the word shit, and from time to time the word fuck is used, and you're like, dang, that's crazy.
Does anyone remember when shit was finally allowed on TV and South Park
Yeah.
basically tried to
They
break
said
the
it like 300
Like the
times
record.
or something like that.
Wasn't that the South Park movie?
No,
No,
that was,
no,
it was
it
an
was
actual
an
episode.
episode.
It was an actual
Yeah,
Yeah,
episode.
they made
It was
this
on
big
TV,
deal
yeah.
out of it because I guess like it was NYPD Blue or some show made this big like deal because they're gonna say like shit on TV,
Yeah, like-
and so they
so
just
South Park's
took
like-
it like to a whole different level and said it like 200, 300 times or something like
They
that.
had a little counter on the side of the
Yeah.
episode.
Oh my God, I remember that episode. That was so
Such a
good.
great episode. Yeah, and I was just
fantastic.
looking it up. The MPAA was actually founded in 1922. It was then known as the MPPDA, the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America. So this is definitely an outdated system.
They didn't start.
To say the
They
least.
actually, Felix. They didn't actually start rating the films until '68, though.
Oh, is that right?
That's when it actually took into effect. The MPAA started in that long ago, but they didn't start actually
Okay.
rating films until the end of the '60s.
Much later on.
But again, it's still like you said, it's
But
so
still.
outdated. It's a system that kind of lives and breathes off of our moral standards, and
And that evolves over time. So.
it's more than just a group of people who sit on a board and go, okay, well, I think this is offensive, so I'm going to slap it with an R.
Yeah.
Right. That could be
Right.
totally true.
Also, why is it so secretive? These are the people that are
Yeah, it should be like
that
a
are
secret
rating
society.
these movies, right? They treat it like it is a secret society, and then
Oh,
there's an
yeah.
appeals board
Yes.
that's even more secretive. But they found out
You're
like
like,
in the
I really don't
documentary
think
that
that's
a
an
lot
R.
that there's a lot of it's like movie distributors.
Yeah.
that are
There's
that
a lot-
are
there's a lot of
the
political and
COO
financial
of
gains.
like Fox.
Yeah, actually,
And-
have it. The members of the board are actually like companies 20th Century Fox, Paramount Pictures, Sony Pictures, Universal Studios, Walt Disney Studios, and Warner Brothers Pictures.
I mean, so all the studios have a stake in
What
what
I'm
their
saying,
movies are
basically, the
rated,
game is
obviously.
rigged. The game is rigged, big time.
One of the outdated things that I think, just my personal, is they have two members of the clergy on the board. Like one's a Catholic priest and then the other one's a Protestant.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the
And,
former.
and they're getting to choose what we see and what's like.
or when people
What
are
we don't see.
appealing, they're like, well, they get the final say,
Yeah.
like, or
Like, no boobs for you.
Well, apparently they didn't watch Shape of Water then. That's their fault.
Hey, they didn't show anything. It was tasteful.
It was artsy.
It was artsy.
Maybe that's.
Best movie of the year, my opinion.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that.
Is that your front runner for the best picture?
It's not going to win because it's too artsy. It's too out there. If
It's
it wasn't
fantasy.
a monster
They don't like
movie,
fantasy.
exactly.
Yeah.
What would you say is gonna probably take best picture?
Oh God, probably The Post. It'll probably just be one of those. What happened a couple years ago with the? There was another news related one where it was the Boston Herald.
was it
uncovering-
Spotlight?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that-
Spotlight.
I felt like that was just another one of those movies that it's going to win. It's got a good ensemble cast. It's got a good script, but
Right.
you're like,
It's got like the industry hook.
how many of these have I
Well,
seen?
plus it has Tom Hanks.
And
Tom
well,
Hanks.
yeah, Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep in a Steven Spielberg
Yeah,
movie.
right,
It's
I
like,
Oh my god.
You might as well just sign that one up.
yeah, apparently one of the award shows they made a joke about that. They're like, oh, and they just started bringing out the trophies as if they were just
Yeah,
gonna
like,
hand
why
it
even
to
bother?
the- yeah, here, you win it automatically with those
Like the
people.
Patriots. Why even bother? Just give them the fucking trophy.
No,
Yeah,
it's too fresh, man.
Too soon?
Way too soon.
Should we record a Super Bowl version of this show? Like record it as we watch Super Bowl?
running
I want to hear a
commentary.
4 hour like
Yeah, 4
rant
hours
of
of
me being
groans.
angry.
Are we
Like,
just going
no.
to comment on the commercials? Because I feel like
That
that's
could
the
be
only
funny.
thing-
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be good.
It would be pretty funny. Yeah.
What's not funny is what's going on in D.C.
Oh snap!
and
Look at
and
that
the
segue.
shakeup. Yeah, that's going on up at the top. So here's Felix on the DC shakeup and what they got coming up.
Yes, so to everybody that already knows, we're obviously big film buffs, comic book buffs, so obviously we're big fans of the comic book movies that are out, nowadays. One area, though, in the film industry is DC right now. It's been kind of a struggle bus, to be perfectly honest with you. Really, since they were first announced back in October 2014, the whole cinematic universe was announced as a whole. Prior to that, Man of Steel came out in 2013. It wasn't really known whether or not it was going to be part of the universe, but later it was announced by the screenwriter of Man of Steel that it was, in fact, setting up a bigger universe. So with that, afterwards, BVS, Batman vs. Superman, a very divisive film, along
Very,
with
we'll say.
yeah, along
Especially
with
in
the
this
slate
group.
yeah.
Awesome
That's
movie.
for another episode.
I heard it.
But yeah, they announced that along with 9 other films, really just jumping the gun and really getting far ahead of themselves without setting up much foundation. But even then, in the end, you can really say that WB has been very successful with these films. They've earned over $3.7 billion at the global box office, despite
Can't say it's been bad.
yeah, no, so it has been completely bad. But one film that's been suffering is actually the Flash solo film, which has been confirmed to be a Flashpoint film, which is a huge, huge story in the DC universe, which is
Yeah.
actually quite surprising that they're going to
Pop
to
it
me
out
personally,
already.
yeah, to me
Well,
that's quite
as
surprising.
a DC fan, you think Flashpoint, you think reset.
Right.
So
and I think this is WB's reset button, considering all the drama that they've had behind the scenes with Ben Affleck. Is he going to be Batman? Is he not going to be Batman?
Right.
Shifting directors. Flash itself has gone through 3 directors already. One being, what were they called? Phil Lord and Chris Miller, actually. They are
Another
actually,
duo.
Yeah, they're actually hired to write the original treatment, and they actually dropped out to direct Han Solo. And that's
Which they
another
got
funny
dropped
story.
from.
Interesting, right?
Going to be another terrible movie.
Yeah, in my notes, I actually wrote LOL after that because that's just sadly ironic. So yeah, with that, they went through 2 more directors, and the latest directors they're in negotiations with is John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who actually wrote and directed the Vacation reboot in 2015, which I genuinely have no memory of.
Honestly, I didn't watch that one.
Apparently, I
Anybody
watched it,
watch
but I
that
don't
one?
remember.
I watch
skipped
it
it.
at
I'm
2
sorry.
times speed.
2 times speed.
It wasn't great. Apparently, I saw it
Is it
with
any
my
better
wife
that way,
Sam,
Sam?
and
Well, you say you saw it with your wives?
with my wife Sam.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to sit here. But anyways, yeah, apparently we watched it together. She says that I probably was drinking and I probably don't remember because it was that bad. Last movie I did that with was Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. I was so angry and I violently attacked this bottle of wild turkey in order to block out the memory of that shit film.
Nice.
Which I kind of did because I don't remember how it went. It's a horrible movie. But anyways, back to Flash. So yeah, these latest directors, people are kind of having a bit of an issue with because they're more known for their comedic routes. Hence, I just said the Vacation movie, which is a pitiful attempt at a reboot. They also actually contributed to Spider-Man: Homecoming. They were actually
Right.
co-writers on that film, and they did a couple other things.
Which leads me to believe that they want it to be more comedic, obviously, right? More like Homecoming, which could be a good or bad thing. They're trying to lighten up DC now.
Yeah. Well, just to note on all their comedic background, they actually did the Horrible Bosses movies as well, and the Incredible Burt Wonderstone, just to kind of give you more of an idea of their style of sense of humor.
Horrible Bosses was pretty funny.
Did they also do
I enjoyed it.
Lego Movie?
That I didn't see. I'm not sure about that.
No, that was Phil Lord. Chris
Lord.
Miller.
Was it? Okay. I actually really enjoyed the Lego Batman movie. That was actually like one of
That
my
was
favorite
pretty funny.
movies of last year. To me, it was the perfect parody.
Yeah,
if you
I
ask
loved
me.
it.
I'm sure that was an easy parent movie for a guy to take the kids to. Sure, kids, we're going to Lego Batman anytime you want. You got it.
I took myself.
I'm just
What are you
hoping
talking
that
about?
I'm just hoping that for Flashpoint that we get an alternate version of Batman with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That would be awesome.
So
Well,
cool.
how accurate do you think they'll actually how faithful do you think they'll stick to the source material?
I doubt it they'll stay faithful
Negative.
at all. But
Negative.
but for one small cameo second, that would make that movie worth it to me.
It would make sense because I mean they cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play Thomas Wayne in Batman versus Superman,
Yeah.
and we know what happens to that character, so there's no reason to reboot that part. But why hire an actor of that caliber if they're not going to utilize him in some
Later
bigger
on.
role? Yeah,
And he would be perfect for that role.
He
That
would.
means you
ahead,
get Lauren Cohen. Is that her name from The Walking Dead? Because she was
Yeah, from The Walking
Martha
Dead.
Wayne.
Oh,
So
as
she
a
could be the
Possible Joker. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
fine with that.
I don't know if they'd do that, honestly. As much as I'd like to see that, I just don't know if they'd
That would
go
be
that
kind of
far.
cool, though. As a
would.
fanboy, it'd be kind of cool.
Well, you see, maybe they would go there if they kept the current line or direction. You know,
Yeah.
that's like way dark. So I
Yeah.
see them maybe steering away
This-
from that. If they
Yeah.
do a Flashpoint, as
Yeah.
Flashpoint would just be their reset, so they could start over with a new Batman, a younger Batman, which I guess is supposed to be Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake
Jake
Gyllenhaal's
Gyllenhaal.
a front runner right now.
Really?
Supposedly.
yeah,
Or they also
that's
talked
what
about.
they say.
also talked about Army Hammer too.
Army Hammer. I
I
heard
think he
John
was in
Hamm
negotiations,
as
yeah.
a continuation of the new or of the older Batman.
Yeah,
That could work.
I like that.
I,
We'll see. We'll see how they do it.
I think also another big contributor to the DC shakeup. I know a lot of folks are gonna, or listeners could not like me for this, but I think also a big contributor to its some of its failure is Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes haven't been kind at all to.
Well, they have not been kind to
Go
DC
ahead,
films.
Eddie. Go ahead, Eddie.
Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Warner Brothers. There's no reason for them to, if there's some kind of thing
Some
going
kind of
on.
back.
It's not. It's just critics reviewing it. They take it, they put it all together and average it out.
Well,
And
these
guess
are
what?
horrible critics.
Well, you see, the problem with that is they put out these ratings before the movie comes out.
they
Everybody,
kill it.
everybody thinks that the movie sucks, then nobody goes to see it.
But I mean, well, no, they put these ratings out because they see the movie before all of us, and so they give their opinions.
Sure.
And so,
But who's to
if
say
they-
their opinions are good opinions?
Well, that's why that's why
Yeah.
any rating system, like even like a video game site, right? If someone says Dark Souls is terrible, that person might not like really hard video games. You find
Right.
someone else who
likes video games
those
in
types
the-
of video games or matches your particular
Personality.
interest or whatever, and then you take that person's opinion. So, but when all the critics say this movie's shit, it's probably shit.
Nope,
Yeah.
not BVS. Not BVS, bro.
Yes.
I don't know,
They
man.
got it wrong.
The critics, they don't like certain genres, in my opinion. So whether
Fiction.
fiction, fantasy, anything that's not realistic.
Eddie's getting worked up
here. He's choking
I
over
mean,
it.
there's a guy named Greg Miller, huge Batman fan, like super fanboy. When he watched BVS,
He was pretty let down.
He was pretty let down. I mean, now he'll defend it and he'll say, "Don't come after me, Greg."
Well, of course he's let down. He wrote the story that ultimately they chopped into pieces and put into this Batman Superman movie with a little bit of everything. Like it's understandable he's upset, but the critics can absolutely have an effect on a box office draw, and that's why the shakeup is happening.
Oh.
Because the films are underperforming and they don't like the direction they're going. They, like you said, Adam, totally just shot out of the gate with all these big ideas and then just rushed it because they knew that they were behind the eight ball against Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And so the shakeup's happening. We're not going to get what we want with Flashpoint. They're going to take it in a comedy direction because you saw that already in Justice League. So now it's just like, well, we
Well,
just
we
have
saw that Justice League was terribly butchered. Cut
Yeah.
to
The
shreds.
Frankenstein movie.
Hopefully, here's to a Zack Snyder cut.
But here's what drives me crazy though. It made a lot of money, but then people are like, "Oh no, it's underperforming. It's not making enough money." I'm like, dude,
Well, it really did though. Justice League horribly underperformed. I mean, it's still a success. It's just these numbers are unreal just to the typical.
Well,
movie.
here's the thing: you compare them to like an Avengers movie, which is like arguably one of the best superhero movies of all time. you can't compare to that with just this
Right.
this quickly put out, no thought out, storyline.
Yeah, but that's also in due part to WB just being so reactionary to people's responses towards all their movies, which is why we have this butchered version of Justice League, because they're course correcting so hard. It needs to be brighter, it needs to be more colorful.
Don't forget everyone's favorite scene, the weird mustache face.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. We have scenes like that due to WB not being able just to stand their ground and stick to the original game plan. Like when they first announced all these movies, they announced 10 movies, which are all in limbo right now.
Right.
Like the only thing we have set right now is Aquaman this year. That's it. That's all we have for this year.
And then also, sorry to interrupt you. So sorry. I actually read a funny article. As of today, Wonder Woman 2 will be the first movie to. They're going to introduce a new sexual harassment law for filming now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they'll be the first film to do it, to acknowledge the new rules for sexual
It
harassment.
makes sense. I mean, that movie really did kind of just break a lot of ground as far as the progressive movement in society nowadays, with film and just, the world in general.
Also, it was a good DC movie.
And there's that. Yes.
Because it was good.
I enjoy it. It's actually my top 3
was a good one.
superhero movies.
Well, technically, he
this
liked
year.
more than one DC movie because he liked Lego Batman too.
I love Lego Batman,
That
and
was
I
great.
did like Justice League.
Parts of it.
Everyone just looked
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah, we're just like, wait,
I
what?
enjoyed Justice League. Sorry.
It was just that.
I
It
thought
had
that's-
it
I
had
thought
its
that's-
moments.
yeah, it
It
was
could have been
hilarious.
more had it not been butchered.
Yeah.
I want a darker death for Superman.
Where was the black suit, right?
Yes,
I love the death of Superman.
Oh yeah, they'll put out multiple
It's
copies and
like
collector's editions.
It's crazy ironic though, like considering how badly people wanted Zack Snyder gone, with the way Batman v Superman was perceived.
Yeah.
Yet now everybody's
everybody's-
protesting and clamoring
we
to
need a
get
Snyder
his cut of
version.
it now, which I'm fine with because he started the original vision with Man of Steel
Yeah.
into Batman v Superman into what should have been his version of Justice League, and now it's kind of unfortunate.
we
It's
lost
pretty
his
sad.
we lost his vision. I think.
Yeah.
It was cut out of this movie.
yes, Eddie.
By the way, I do like Man of Steel. I really
I enjoyed
that
it too.
movie.
I actually rewatched it
I
again
think
this
that
morning.
started the need for a DCEU was how good Man of Steel was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good starting point, and that's why they pushed for Batman versus Superman, and then with it not being as good as we thought. Apparently, I thought it was great, but and then they chopped the hell out of Justice League. They tried to change direction, and now a Flashpoint again. They're going to go more comedic. So we're seeing this kind of like degradation, if you will.
Yeah,
of
they're
All I
constantly
ask for
changing
is
what started.
don't give me the
Course
forced
change.
comedy. Like don't put in forced comedy.
But did you like Flash and Justice League?
He was hilarious.
Did you like Flash and Justice
I
League?
enjoyed him. I thought he was a bit extra a couple times, but
Well,
he was funny for the most part.
I think because
Yeah,
we're
I
getting
thought
to
he
know
was
the
great.
character.
I
Like,
thought he
I
was-
love the part where he's running past Superman and Supes looks over and he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit!"
Yeah, right? I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
him in it. And that's the thing is, I think that we're going to talk about this at a different time, but I don't think that just because they're the darker comics that they can't have
That they don't
comedy.
have comedy in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Alfred was hilarious.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's so sassy, bro. He's
Commissioner
so
Gordon had a
sassy.
couple of good one-liners.
You mean
Yeah.
Dadfred?
There's comedy in there.
Dadfred, yes.
Yeah,
Dadfred.
I know you guys think I hate BVS, but I don't. There's actually a lot of
Yeah.
things I like about that. Probably is my favorite version of Alfred. I think I just love that he's not just the butler. He's
Yeah.
kind of his bro.
He's a tinkerer. He's
like-
a mechanic. He's.
I like how Alfred's fed up. He's fed up with his bullshit.
Yeah, he's
like
drinking and
he's like,
piloting the Batwing at the same time. It's awesome.
He's like, "Give me the wine. I'm gonna have some wine as I pilot this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I do like Batman versus Superman. I would like if we put it on, I'll watch it.
The problem. All right. So
I
here's
just
the
don't.
problem.
I just know it's not.
Here's
a
the problem with
well-made
Batman
movie.
versus Superman is that the villains are terribly weak. The Doomsday was not a good version. Luthor maybe was
My
miscast.
least favorite part of that movie
Sure.
is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
And that will go ahead and segue us into what makes a better movie. A hero or a villain.
Samuel.
Go ahead, Sam. Let's. What's the argument here? What do you think makes a better movie, heroes or villains?
I am going to start with going to the dark side, the evil side. I think getting to know the villains and seeing their point of view of things could be a good potential. Like a best example would definitely be a movie I didn't enjoy too much till the last 5 minutes. Was
A good example is this movie that sucks.
yeah, which is sorry guys, Rogue One. It was a build up. It was a build up. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody. It was a build up. But really, the best part was only the last 5 minutes when Vader comes in, knocks on the door and starts kicking ass.
I'm going to have to 100% agree with you.
Thank you. I enjoy having backup in
Yeah.
this situation.
That's
I see Eddie twitching.
I thought Rogue
twerking.
One was better than Force Awakens. But no, right? Because we're smart.
Well, that's debate.
Wow.
Actually, we'll save that debate for another show.
I kind of agree on that, honestly.
But
I still love Force Awakens, but Rogue One
Let's
is great.
keep on Vader, though.
Okay, that's what I was gonna get back to. Is like as soon as this topic was mentioned, I was like, all we have to think about is the original trilogy and Vader, and how much that it's just the presence he brings to the movie,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think he makes those movies.
But what makes him so great, though, is that it's such a vague introduction to a character. You don't know anything about him other than that he is evil.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious just by his physical appearance.
Sure.
All in black, cloak,
And you
helmet,
hear him,
red
the
lightsaber.
breathing.
Yeah, it's very ominous. When you give too much insight into a character, you get the prequels. When you realize that they're a whiny little bitch,
Well, to be fair, he wasn't the villain in the first three until like the last hour of the
But
third
was
movie.
he actually the villain because he was a terrible actor?
That really
So we
is.
blame the casting part.
No, it
Well, I
really
wrote
was a
down
terrible part of it.
I made a little
definitely
list
possible.
of like a couple characters I'd like to see to have their own movie besides Venom coming out this year.
Venom's going to be all right. So that was my good example of like a good villain movie, and I
Yeah.
think they're pushing in that direction. Like maybe they can, start getting into, further along that lines. What do you have, Sam?
I actually wrote down Deathstroke and then Doctor Doom because I like Deathstroke, Doctor Doom because these two guys they have a lot of power, but they're also masterminds. They're intellectual. They like to attack you intellectually and then physically. So they'll put you through the mental strain, and then if there's anything left, they will take you on physically. I think to see these guys and how they take out the villains, I think that'd be a cool example. And I wrote down another example. I don't know if anyone's gonna agree with me, but I like to see a solo Sabretooth movie, but with Liev Schreiber, because I think his portrayal of Sabretooth was pretty good.
Right. My only problem is with like Deathstroke. I'm a casual DC fan. I don't know enough about him to be like, ooh, movie.
You're
But
like,
then,
He's literally Deadpool, like
I-
because Deadpool came from
they
him.
Made, yeah, I
Yeah.
know that. But
I'm just saying, it's the same.
yeah,
thing.
but who's better? Come on.
They
Nah,
both.
I argue with him about Deathstroke. But like also with Sabretooth, like I know a lot about Sabretooth because of the cartoons growing up, and Marvel's more my thing anyway.
Yeah.
But I still don't. I mean, can he carry a whole entire film when he's just Wolverine without the metal?
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
there's some characters that just complement other characters better. Like, yeah, Sabretooth is more of a compliment to Wolverine. And I would agree with Deathstroke as well. I think he is a good character, but he's more of a compliment to the DC universe as a whole, considering how many different characters he's encountered. I don't know if a solo film would necessarily work unless it's completely outside of the, the stories that we already know.
Like a standalone.
Yeah, maybe like an origin story, like maybe like where he gets all these skills, but like I wouldn't want it to be him just brushing through, a lot of big, named characters. Like the way a lot of TV shows do, they just kind of brush off a lot of random villains. It's fine with throwaway characters, but I'd rather see a major character be done justice and
Well,
given
what villain would you want to see if they did a solo movie?
as a solo film. To be honest with you, there's not really a lot. I mean, Doctor Doom would be a good one because he has yet to be done justice anywhere on any form of this big
especially the
screen.
recent one.
Uh,
Oh,
That wasn't Doctor Doom. Let's not talk about that.
That wasn't
crap.
Fantastic Four.
That was fantastic.
that was
Yeah.
horrible for.
They're back with Marvel, so maybe Marvel will be the one to start the the villains with Venom. Maybe they'll do a Doctor Doom to reintroduce Fantastic Four into the mix.
With Venom. Do
Um,
we know if there's a cameo of Spider-Man or not? Do we know?
There's a lot of speculation.
the
right
rumor
now.
is
Yeah.
that Tom Holland's going to make a cameo.
Yeah,
in that
not
movie.
Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. Like apparently Tom Holland's out there.
Really?
Yeah.
No Spider-Man?
Well, I mean,
That's
to
still
see
more
Tom
money.
Holland under,
Yeah,
that's still
Tom Holland-
something. I mean, that's more than I would have expected originally, honestly. And this is more focused just about Eddie Brock's story. Apparently, he confirmed that Carnage will be the main antagonist of the film. So,
Oh my
So I'm not going
God.
to see JJ arguing and yelling at people. At the
I
Daily
doubt.
Bugle?
Well, this isn't.
Maybe not
yeah.
in this movie. Well,
Nah,
I don't
probably
know.
not.
Brock did have a job at the paper, so
He did.
He might be able to.
I
see
don't know if we're
a
going to
JJ.
go that route.
I
though.
think the problem with like these the comic book villains having their own movies is like the really cool villains all need like 27 superheroes to take them out, right? Like Thanos
Right.
and
Well, the problem with a villain movie specifically is is that what we want to see as a consumer? Do we want to see a whole movie of people getting murdered and swept aside and
I guess we'll find out with Infinity War.
dominated and stuff? Well, again, that's not like it's not centered on Thanos.
Yeah,
like
I know,
you know,
I
we're
know.
still we still have some heroes' perspective in that. If we just on Doctor Doom's side, I don't know. I just don't know if that would work necessarily as a movie. I don't know. In my opinion, the heroes make a stronger movie. Obviously, we want to see like the struggle. The hope survives. See the arcing, ebb of flow of people getting knocked down and then getting back up. That's I think what drives most movies and drama, is kind of that flow, that ebb and flow.
I totally agree. Right. I mean, you're going to get more of these anti-hero movies standalone because of
That's a good
Deadpool.
point.
Deadpool, walks the line, and they even say it in the movie, between the good and the bad. Venom.
Yeah, because you can still root for him a little bit.
Oh, of course. And in the storyline,
You're not really going to root for Dr. Doom per se.
right.
well,
Because I think with the Deadpool thing, it was like a personal story, right? Like his whole movie was like small stakes. So it's like well, he's not trying to kill
Thanos. It's not a world-ending thing,
as an
right?
anti-hero, he's also not trying to kill all the innocent people standing around. He's after revenge, and that's like his main thing. And it's like
Smaller stakes. I agree. Yeah.
Well, can anybody think of a movie that is like lauded, with a main character that's perceived as a villain? I mean, does anybody have anything that they can think of?
I mean, like Gagne
Clockwork
said, the
Orange.
anti-heroes, Punisher, something like that, where you could be perceived one way and yet you're against the law, so you can be perceived both ways, I guess. Like straight up villains, you don't see a whole lot of those movies. Like
A prime example would be
Red
Negan
Dragon,
from The Walking
something
Dead.
like that.
Like Negan, a lot of folks compare it's just Rick on a different day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
true.
or the
One
prime-
bad day and it
Yeah,
turns,
yeah.
you know.
It all
and-
turns.
That's very true.
I think it'd be interesting though. Just I don't know. We'll see how Venom plays out, and then I'm sure it'll lead to more possibly if it does well at the box office.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think Venom's going to be, just another step forward in the industry.
Because Venom's strictly Sony, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? Do we know a rating on that?
It's
yet?
going to be R.
I think it's confirmed rated R.
Yeah.
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 Amazing.
Great.
The storyline, it would be great if they would actually show Spider-Man. The storyline that they're writing off of is a very much an anti-hero story where Venom, fights Carnage, and it's a small-scale story, but in that comic, Spider-Man comes and helps him at the end. And so it'd be nice to see, a quick cameo. It doesn't have to...
Yeah, just a tie-in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we know it's in the same universe.
Well, I'm curious. Where do you think the symbiote suit's going to come from? Do you think we'll see that in Avengers?
It would have been nice to have a little tease.
Well, see, my theory is that I've kind of seen a few people toss around with Infinity War coming out. There's that one shot that everybody sees of Peter Parker beat up and kind of bloodied on the ground.
Right.
So, and there was also the behind-the-scenes footage that first came out before the first trailer even dropped, where it shows Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, and I think Robert Downey Jr. It looks like kind of an alien, sort of like this landscape. So, I mean, obviously this film that's coming up is going to take place over several sets and locations, maybe one being like a more alien location.
You can definitely tell they are pushing the space aspect, especially in like the
With
TV show
Guardians
Agents
coming
of
in too.
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s also in space
Yeah.
now. So
Right,
it could
yeah.
definitely come from space as it should,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm thinking he's going to get
maybe
like
it clings
injured.
on to
like
the
maybe he'll
Guardians of the Galaxy ship or something.
Yeah, so I feel like it's gonna latch on to him somewhere, and he brings it back to Earth, or maybe he is injured, and maybe the symbiote finds him and it kind of restores him back to health.
Kind of
and
like in
brings him back.
the animated Spider-Man series when the symbiote hopped onto the astronauts.
Something like
suit,
that, yeah.
And he comes back into Earth.
Maybe like them on the way back, like
finds
it
Peter
latches
Parker.
onto him or something. So
I
we'll
don't
see.
know. I'm looking forward to it. That's
I
probably
hope
my
they-
favorite Spider-Man villain.
I hope they
Venom
can push
and
Carnage to the
Yeah.
max. I want to see Carnage to the max.
Well, I
Maximum
think.
Carnage.
Oh, interesting. Good catch there. I think with the CG now, it's definitely possible for them to, push Carnage to that kind of next level where he can, manipulate everything and it's more liquidy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Is that this year too?
It's very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's later this year.
Sounds like Marvel definitely has a lot more coming out this year than DC.
Well,
They do.
they have
Well,
Aquaman, and that is it.
DC has Aquaman.
That's kind of been the story the whole time,
Yeah,
That's all they have.
Just one Aquaman.
Least
The only other
favorite
movies they have,
character
like-
ever.
right?
Jason Momoa's version is actually pretty
I
cool.
mean, I
He's just a big
completely
brook.
agree, but he still is an underwater superhero. Like, just not fun for me.
Well, hey, if they made Ant-Man cool, then hopefully DC can make
my argument
Aquaman
for a lot
cool,
of things, yeah.
So
Well, we know Aquaman's a
That's a valid
natural
point.
alcoholic, so we're good.
It is a valid point. So our last segment of the day, we were going to talk about Nintendo, and they put out a new type of game, question mark?
Labo?
Yeah.
Or Labo?
What is this thing, Eddie? Because I
Labo?
actually didn't see the trailer for this thing. I just seen pictures. So what is this?
So-
It's called
Alright.
Nintendo Libido.
The libido.
Basically, what Nintendo's doing is putting out cardboard apparatus that you put together, you fold together, kind of like we would a standee, and you place the controllers into it, the screen on top of it. You do some things with it, and it's like a controller. It's a,
It
it's a
shows
peripheral.
people like fishing.
Yeah, you got like a
playing
fishing
piano.
net. There's a piano. There's an RC car that works with the vibration of the controllers. But they're all like very, very basic.
Yeah.
It's more toward the kind of 5 to 12-year-old range. I don't know. Eddie, you have kids. Would you buy this product? And you've seen the trailer for it, yes?
Ladies out there, I only have one. That I know of. No, yeah, I saw the little trailer, and I don't know what to think of this thing, right? Like, it's interesting, it's cool, because that's Nintendo, as far as Nintendo goes, they make interesting, cool things. And
They push the limits, that's
yeah.
for sure.
So Nintendo started off with toys, and when they make these things, these innovative things, they kind of, it goes back to their heritage on that kind of thing. But
Only Nintendo could make this product, to be honest. If Sony or Xbox put this out, it would be the laughingstock.
right, yeah, because they're like they're how they bring the children into video games, right? And that's not talking bad about their games, because their games are mechanically more sound. They don't have giant 15 gigabyte updates when their game comes out. Their game comes out and it works. Nintendo believes that like pushing a game release date back is better, because you're sad that it got delayed for those 3 months, but
the quality.
But then you
but
get a
the
complete
quality,
game.
when you get the game, it's there. But like, as far as this cardboard cutout thing, it's like, it's for children. I'm gonna murder my child. So when Nintendo is releasing these cardboard cutouts and they're for children, all I can think about is, what 5-year-old is not gonna spill
It's gonna
something on
destroy it.
these things?
Yeah.
These
Definitely not waterproof.
right?
Definitely
And
not.
or the robot one, right? It's like a $80, $90 pack that puts like a boots on them and like a backpack.
So it's a whole apparatus, basically.
So this 30-pound kid is gonna fall over and crush this $90 pack of cardboard.
And
And
so
then
there's different packs, like, or variety.
well,
Oh
right
yeah,
now-
yeah. There's
So
certain
check it out.
packs.
This
There's
is the thing. We have a variety pack. It's got like 6 different mini games, if you will.
Yeah.
$70. And this is just the cardboard we were talking about, $70.
can't-
And then we have
can't do
another
that.
pack that's the robot pack. This is only I think it's kind of the biggest one. $80 for this one. And here's the thing, like when they do destroy it, because they will get destroyed, what are you going to call Nintendo for replacement cardboard? How much is that going to cost you?
What about these buy the warranty from Walmart for like an extra $20 and just keep replacing it?
From the other dad perspective in this group, I would tell my kids, go get the millions of pounds of cardboard from Amazon I have in the garage, and you can
Make your own?
exactly like do what I did when I was a kid. Like, I had a Nintendo, I had cardboard, but I did whatever I needed to do with both of those on their own terms. I don't need a cutout that I spend $80 for, that exactly, like you guys said, is going to get crushed, spilled on, destroyed in the first day. But
Yes,
It does
Kind of hokey.
It does seem innovative. Like, if I was a kid, I would probably enjoy putting it together. I'm pretty hands-on. If I had a kid, I may get it just so I could, have something to do with my kids.
Yeah.
But me as a single 32-year-old male, I'm not buying it.
Is that literally all it is? Just like shapeable cardboard cutouts?
Pretty much, dude.
cutouts.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's pre-cut cardboard that you form
You can
together.
play
The robot
the
one has some
piano.
pulleys and stuff, but it's basically all it is just to use the controllers in a new way. I'll give you this. The piano one is cool from a tech perspective because it uses the camera on the
Switch.
the switch itself to see what buttons you're pushing on the piano. That's kind of cool. But as far as the games itself, I don't see myself playing them. The fishing thing looks like it's gonna break in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, the for the price of the $60 pack
Yeah.
or $70, and the Switch, you can buy yourself a nice real Casio.
Well, that's what they said like about Guitar Hero back in the day too. For the amount of time you put into getting good at Guitar Hero, you might as well just fucking play guitar.
Get a guitar,
You know?
a real one.
That's true. That's why they came out with that one game.
Yeah, and it was
Rocksmith.
hard as hell too.
Right. Oh, okay.
So who's buying it? Anybody?
No,
Not me.
Not even no.
I won't even buy my
No.
kids a Switch, so no.
No, you don't even have Switch.
No.
Well, because he's saving his money for popcorn.
You have a Switch, Sam.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm not buying
Not
it.
even if you had kids.
No.
No.
So you're saying you like sitting and playing games.
Plus the fact that, like, I'm never going to fit into that little robot cardboard. I'm freaking 6'5",
I
dude.
think it'd be one size fits all for the
we
robot.
should buy it just to see if you're
You
capable
gotta buy the
of using
expansion
it.
pack.
All right, so this
Yeah.
we should buy it just as the crew, so we could
Put Sam in it.
you know just do a podcast on that itself.
We
you
could-
know,
we could
see
film
if
it.
it's worth it.
Stay tuned for our upcoming segment. Does it work with Sam?
Does Sam fit in the box?
Oh, that's fantastic.
If I fit
Yeah, when I
six-
was little, we had Legos, all right, and they were
are
sturdy
fucking amazing.
and they were plastic. You could break them apart.
But they're
you
so
know?
expensive nowadays, bro. Have you seen the kits? They're
Well, 'cause
so
they-
damn expensive.
Worth it.
It's owned by Disney now.
Well,
Legos
now
owned
all
by
you get
Disney?
is like,
Yeah, find it out.
oh, well, they do have Legoland right next to Disney.
That's true.
That's-
I didn't
that
think
makes
about
sense.
that.
What is there anything Disney doesn't own?
No shit, right? Excuse my
Right?
French.
They don't own me, but they
I
could.
think it's too fucking late for that, bro.
Yeah, Disney's just collecting things like the Infinity Stones, man.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. They're-
It's crazy.
Disney is Thanos, bro.
Yeah,
They're
it's-
just gonna collect it all. Jeez.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I hear you. Fellas, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Hopefully the Patriots don't win this year. I'm sick and tired of the Patriots. Does that count?
If there's somehow we can reset this and just start over again, if we can find our flashpoint and just start this flashpointing, this is not okay.
Start the season all
This is
over.
not okay.
We're still talking about football?
However, I will watch the game if it's commentated by your boy Romo.
It
I
won't be.
think Romo deserves to commentate.
Yeah, unfortunately, it
Bowl.
won't be on CBS, but I did like Romo as a commentator this year. I thought he had a lot of insight.
He's really good. Like seriously, I think Romo is a great commentator. Like he's calling the play before the play started. I'm like, this guy's too good.
It's really nice to see him get through a whole game without getting hurt. I love it.
Ah, damn.
I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm allowed. I don't care.
Fantastic.
Well,
All
but-
right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that we got a comment on last week's episode.
Oh yes.
Oh
So
gosh,
we
I
do-
forgot the comments. Yeah, let's do that real quick.
Okay.
We have our first comment. Yeah.
So we have a first comment from our show. The listener of the show wanted to know, since you picked the power of super strength,
Eddie specifically here.
Yes,
did you pick just for your arms only or your whole body?
my whole body.
Your whole body.
Super strength. I mean, I believe she was. We don't have to sweeten
Specify.
it up or anything, but she asked if I had super strength, if I would rip my dick off while masturbating, which I guess is, it's a good question to me because those are the kind of things that
You're
they
reading
don't
into
cover, they don't
Reading into
cover in comic books, right? But to answer that question, listener, I would expect that I would have the same kind of control that I have now with my strength, right? And
Proportional strength. You know.
also, it's my dick, so I'm gonna take care of that shit.
Wouldn't it be just as strong? I mean, you said you're gonna be strong all over, so it'd be resilient, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I mean, maybe. I was just thinking, like, I don't have like Superman's like invulnerability, so if I had super strength, I guess if I got a little too into it or something. But I mean, it's still your dick. It's still your sensitive spot, right? I assume I would be pretty careful. That's my answer
You
to that.
assume.
Wow.
That's your problem.
Great.
You're assuming.
I'm glad we covered that.
It was very important.
As for comments, we do love comments, so please give us better ones than that so we can cover them.
It's a great start. No,
Yeah, come find us
Um,
over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us. Give us a like, a share. We're always open to your comments at any time, so throw them on down to us.
Even ones about my dick.
Specifically, yes. Like Sam said, check us out on the website, nofashow.com. You can find us on Podbean, Google Play Music, iTunes, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
And what about the RSS feed?
Oh, that's for Overcast. You have to copy our RSS feed to put it into Overcast.
I believe so. We'll put up links. You'll see us.
You can always ask us. We'll always send you
Yeah.
links.
You'll see us around the corner.
Check us out next week. See you next time. Love you guys. Bye.
Keep nerding
See ya.
on.
Bye, guys.
Follow us. Follow us. Follow us.